Welcome to the Detroit Lions Cure Auto Insurance post-game show here in beautiful Inglewood, California at SoFi Stadium. There is the final score. Detroit Lions 41, the LA Chargers 38. This came down to a game-winning field goal by kicker Riley Patterson, who remained so poised as always, cool, calm, and collected, sending that ball through the uprights to move these Detroit Lions 7-2 on the season. Along with Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. This was a nail-biter, something the Detroit Lions have not been used to, being behind the 8-ball in the later quarters. How did you What was the biggest difference in them pulling this game out?
Well, first of all, defense was optional today. My goodness, Danny, 41-38. But again, we stayed the course. And again, it was a lot of scoring, a lot of big plays in that game. But when you have to make big plays, when it comes down to getting a stop or doing something to help this team win, the Lions always seem to come up with a way of doing that. It was no different today. They were able to stop them, drive down, get themselves in position to kick that game-winning field goal.
They sure did. Here, taking a look at the final stats, Detroit led the way on the ground, 200 rushing yards with that 1-2 punch of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. We'll get more into their stats later. 333 passing yards from Jared Goff, back in his hometown state of California. That surpasses Herbert just by 10 yards. 533 total yards for these Detroit Lions. No turnovers for Detroit. And Detroit also just narrowly beat the Chargers in that time of possession. So it was a close game no matter how you look at it. Coming off the bye week, Detroit was looking to improve in 3 areas: red zone efficiency, turnover margin, and third quarter production. Turnover margin, they won that battle. They're now +1 in that category. Red zone efficiency, they didn't improve in. Came in at 48%. They're leaving today 2 for 4, 50%. There were some woes down there by the goal line. And then that third quarter production. It was their lowest scoring quarter, but they did put up points. Where did you see the most improvement today?
Yeah, you're right. They did put up points in the third quarter, but that has to be a concern, especially when you come out the locker room and you get the ball. You want to try to take the momentum that you took into the locker room with you and bring it out the second half. So I know that's something that Coach Campbell and this coaching staff going to keep harping on. But I was pleasantly surprised. Danny, we had a lot of plays in the red zone. But again, our efficiency, we just need to be able to score touchdowns instead of field goals when we get in the red zone. So I think Ben Johnson, that offense, they'll keep improving upon that. But it was great to see us get that many plays in the red zone.
I have a feeling Dan Campbell will also talk about that red zone efficiency here in his post-game presser. Let's send it to the head coach.
You do what you have to do to find a way to win, and we did that today. The most important thing for us, man, I wanted us to play fast, physical, and violent, and truly compete. And I did feel that way in all 3 phases. The offense really showed up today, big time. It was, there again, you get Jonah back and Frank, and David's back, and Gibbs, and we got everybody. St. Brown and Goff really stepped up, made some big throws. So the offense really stepped up, and just stayed in phase. Defensively, we played really good early, and then they started getting us in a little bit of this no tempo, and we just got to clean up the composure a little bit and get the call, get lined up, and let's just play ball. But that'll all be stuff that we correct, but man, it's a good win. We found a way.
It seemed like one of those games where the team with the ball last was probably going to win it. Did you think that way?
Well, we had the ball last.
And just take us through the 4th and 2 call with that kind of mindset in mind.
Yeah, I wanted to finish with the ball, and I trusted our guys and trust Goff. There's, they'd had going into that situation. If you don't, there's gonna be a lot of time left. You kick a field goal. So I wanted to finish with the ball in our hands. I liked where we were at offensively. We were playing good. Goff was in a good spot, and I felt like that was the right thing to do.
It seemed obvious. I don't think a lot of people would agree it was the right thing to do, but it's still gutsy to do that. You had a game-winning field goal there for the take, potentially a field goal there for the take.
Well, to each his own, and some say it's a boneheaded move, and some say it's not. And I made the decision, and I stick by that decision.
Is it easier on bit. You get David Montgomery back, obviously mixing them in with Gibbs and, just getting that going. I mean, what was your impressions of what they were able to do together today?
Listen, that to me, this is part of the vision coming to life, man, is those two back there, the two-headed monster, and they both deliver something different, and they're both very unique, and they're dangerous, both of them. So it's good to see that, and Gibbs continues to grow, and it's great to have David back. He played at a high level. And then the O-line, man, really showed up today. That's what we talked about, playing physical, finishing, playing violent. Those guys were outstanding, in protection and in the run game.
Is it easier to make that call on 4th and 2?
You guys are still on the 4th down. Keep going. All right.
This is a callback. To go with that, when they've scored on 5 straight possessions, knowing that your defense is struggling today, that you kind of maybe don't even have an option, right? That you have to.
Yeah, I felt like it was the right move. Let's just say my mind doesn't go there, but let's just say we don't get it. They were going to have a lot of time left anyway. They do, but I got 3 timeouts, so they get in field goal range or whatever. And I feel like, hey, we'll bang them, and then you answer back for a tie. But I just felt like, hey, I just felt like the right thing to do was to go for it there and finish with the ball in our hands, get the first down, drain the clock, and let Riley go in there and hit it. We were, that was a kick that was well within his range, and so that's why I did it.
Focusing on the fourth down question again, going back a few minutes ago, you said the word trust. You trust this group. Where does that trust with this offense stem from?
Well, this group's been together for the most part for a while. There's really the new pieces are really Montgomery and Gibbs. I guess you could say Laporta, but Laporta, Gibbs, they've all and Montgomery have all proven that they're reliable pieces for us. The rooks have grown every year, and we have a lot of trust in all those guys. The old line's the same, Goff's the same, St. Brown's the same, Josh Reynolds is the same, Khalif Raymond. So I've seen these guys function. I know how Ben Johnson will call a game if we want to play this way, and I believed it was the right thing to do, and I thought we'd get it.
Yeah, focusing on the moments you can draw on later, a game like this, winning down the stretch on the road against a tough team.
Yeah, I think I got asked a little bit earlier about it's you win close games, low scoring games, but to win a shootout, this is one of those things we haven't done a lot of is win the close shootout, and so. I think every time you win it, and no matter how you got to get it done, you learn from it and you gain something out of it. The good and the bad you gain. So yeah, it certainly does. Who was talking to me? I'm sorry, Justin.
That's fine. We're focusing on the last 4th down, but this was a game 4th down all day.
Got it.
No, I mean there was 8 or 9 times between the two teams. Dave asked you earlier in the week with Staley's aggressiveness, your aggressiveness. Was that the game plan going in? Was that you knew you kind of had to keep your foot on the gas that whole way, or did it develop as you got a feel for things?
I felt like, look, a lot. It's a question you asked me a little bit, right? What's your name?
Lindsay, ESPN.
Hello. Sorry. And we got our guys back, and we're at full force right now. And I have a ton of confidence in that offense and Ben Johnson calling that offense. Goff behind center, that O-line, the backs, the receivers. And so it just, and with where that game was at and what we were walking into, I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I told them all week we were going to play aggressive, and I wanted us to be ready to go, and we were, that was kind of part of the message, our demeanor and the way we were going to coach and play. We were going to be aggressive.
Did that mindset play into the shot play to Brock Wright? I mean, knowing you had maybe 2 shots at it with 1 yard.
Yeah, I would say that played into it. That was something we thought would be there, and yeah, I would say it did.
Sorry, Dan. Just the play of St. Brown, just 156
He's a
yards,
stud.
career high. I mean, just seems like every week with this guy.
He's a stud. He just continues to make plays. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I mean, he is the most steady, reliable guy that you can find in this league. I mean, I'd love to know somebody that is more reliable than him, because I don't know if there is. So he just does what he's supposed to do times 10, and he's productive. He's tough. He's physical. He's a game-changing type player. And it's just, the bigger the moment, the bigger he shows up. And it's just, you talk about that word trust. There's a tremendous amount of trust for him, in him, and what he's able to do. And Goff has a ton of trust in him as well. So he's a stud. It's that simple.
With the performance of Jared Goff today, where do you see that put him in the conversation with the best quarterbacks in the league, with what he's able to do, backing up again with another performance like today?
Look, all I know is he's playing at a high level for us, and we're winning games because of him. So I would say he's certainly up there. I don't know who that would be, but I like our guy. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. We got a quarterback, and thank God we do. So.
You mentioned the offensive line a couple of times, specifically Jonah ran behind him a couple of times early with some pulls. He really helped key some of those big runs. What did it mean to have him back, and how do you think he played?
Yeah, it was good to have him back. He does bring an athleticism. There's some power that certainly he brings, but the athleticism on the perimeter, his ability to pull is something that really helps us, and that old line's no different than the other pieces we have on it, man. We play to their strengths, and we were unique in that way. When you've got a guy like Decker and Jonah, Sewell, Frank, like you play to your strengths, and they can do a lot of different things athletically and in the run game, schematically, that not everybody can do. And so when you got them all back and they're all playing a high level, you use them and let these runners go.
After a big win like this, emotional, I don't know, are you spent on the plane ride home? Do you crash out? Do you celebrate? What is the aftermath of a win like this?
Yeah, normally this will be one of those I just melt in my seat probably a little bit. I'm not. I say I won't. I usually try to stay away from the tape till in the morning because I don't want to grade off emotions. But I may peak it. It's a long one back, but I can tell you this: it always feels a lot better after a win. We're this whatever it is, 4 or 5 hours. It's much better after a win than it is when you don't come away with a game like that. So I was proud of the guys, man. They really showed up and found a way to win that game. Okay. You do what you have to.
St, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No, getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously, when I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to Cure.com to see how you can save. We're going to hear from the self-made man here very soon. It's wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, who comes back home to his hometown state of California, played for the USC Trojans. Amon-Ra St. Brown, over 170 receiving yards here today. He is a safety blanket for Goff. He is consistent. He is the 4th best catch rate in the NFL, 74%. He does not drop balls. If he drops them, something's up. Rather, he had 156 total yards. Every time he caught the ball, it was for just about 20 yards each. Longest reception on the day, 46, and he had a touchdown. All of this done on just 8 receptions. Why is he a self-made man right now?
I love that, Danny. Self-made, and you're right. The guy goes out and he works, Danny. We've seen him work at practice. The guy, he hits the jugs every day. He's putting in the little work that he has to put in, the extra work that he has to put in. He watches film. He does everything that you need to do to be a professional in this league, but he's doing extra things to take his game to another level. So it's just unbelievable. Every game, you could just mark in 100 yards receiving because you know he's good for that. So Amon-Ra, man, the security blanket for Jared Goff, just like you say, but man, he is an impactful player for the Detroit Lions.
100 receiving yards in 4 straight games. That means his name is etched in history books with the likes of Calvin Johnson and Herman Moore. Very impressive for St. Brown. He is at the podium now. Let's hear from the receiver.
Head coach that has to trust in you to make a gutsy call like that on 4th and 2 right at the end of the game? Just trust you guys with the ball, trust your offense.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was going to do. I looked back, and offense stayed on the field. And, I mean, I was excited. I was like, let's go, let's do it, because I knew the play call that we had in, I was like, I probably not going to go to me, but the way the defense they've been running, they couldn't really stop us all game, and Sam made a great play. O-line blocked amazing all game. But I was excited. I even gave Campbell a high five coming off the sideline. Like, I mean, I don't know how many coaches are going to go for that in that situation. So, man, hats off to him.
How great was this to do this in LA, and I mean, what kind of support did you have in the crowd today?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends and family here. But it was fun. I got to see them before the game last night. Went to had some dinner with them. Pre-game, saw them all. Just nice to be back home. Because last time I was back home, it didn't turn out how we kind of wanted. So to be back home, have a good game, win the game. It just felt it just felt right.
How comfortable is year 3 for you, though, man? It seems like game by game, week by week, just getting better and better. Is the game slowing down for you? What you seeing at this point in your career at this time?
Yeah, that's a good question. Man, for me, it's just keep doing what I do. You only at receiver, it's kind of different than a lot of positions in football. Some games you might get 13 targets, some games you might get 6. So it really depends how the flow of the game is going. If the run game is working, we're going to run the ball. If we can't run it, we're probably going to throw it more. If we're down, you probably got to throw it more. If you're up, you're going to run it more. So it really depends on how the game is going. But for me, I just like to make the most of all my opportunities, especially at receiver, man. You can complain, whatever, but when the ball comes your way, are you making the play or you're not? And for me, that's the biggest thing is I want to make the play every time it comes my way. And if it doesn't, either the defender made a good play or I got to be better. So that's my biggest thing is I got to get open. I got to make plays for this team and just be consistent.
You guys were healthy on offense for really the first time all year, maybe since week 1. Is this a glimpse of what you guys can be offensively with all your pieces back and healthy at O-line, wide receiver, both running backs, everything?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you guys see, we got some weapons when everyone's healthy. That one that touchdown J-Mo had got called back. I think if we, get that one in, it might have been a different game just to start the game, because that was a big play for us. But yeah, everyone being healthy is huge for us because, everyone can make a play every play. The same player can't make the play. So when you have all these weapons, it just takes a load off me, off guys, off Jared, off Laporta, off whoever's, off David, Jameer. Any time someone can make a play, even on that one that David had, the 75-yard touchdown. I think we were in the wrong personnel. It was supposed to be 12, and we were in 11, and so we called the play. I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing on this play. Like I'm not supposed to be in. So I look at Jared. He checks it. He's like, let's just check it to a run. Everyone relax. He checks it, and David goes for 75 yards. So it just shows you the ability that we have as an offense. We can explode at any point, and that's what I think that's why I'm so excited to be a part of this team because there's guys on every level that can make plays.
That was a check run. That was a check play.
Yeah. So it was a completely different play to start the play, and we were in the wrong personnel. So I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do on this play because it was supposed to be a tight end, but we were in 11, so I was the third receiver, and he's like, let's just check it. We'll just check it to a run that we do all the time, one of our just base runs, and ended up popping for 75, and that's really why I was super excited. Obviously, David and everyone, but for us to do that in that situation, just to check to a regular run and score was huge.
Have you noticed defenses doing some different things with you as these 100-yard weeks keep piling up?
You know what? Not really. We do a great job of mixing run and pass, so it's kind of tough to predict. I feel like as a defense, if we're gonna run it or pass it, like as you guys saw that 4th down, we ran it. I don't know how it was like 4th and something. Yeah, and we ran it. So you can't always predict what we're gonna do. So that's what makes us so unique. But maybe a little on defense, but nothing crazy. I kind of like it. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Cleanout day last year, we talked about just wanting to be more involved in the vertical passing game. You've been seeing some more shots. You had the big crosser today. I think there was a sideline shot that maybe got broken up. But how much do you like the way you're being utilized this year versus maybe earlier in your career?
I love it. Like I said, whenever the ball comes my way, I got to make the play. I was super close on that go ball. It's like 2 inches off. I wish I could have had that one back. But, man, like I said, whatever they put me, if the ball comes my way, I got to make the play, and that's just the mentality that I have.
Do you feel a little bit more space when everybody's healthy?
In terms of
just as you're kind of moving around, do you feel a little more openness in general when everybody's out there because they got a lot to think about?
Yeah, I mean, yeah and no. You know, certain play concepts, obviously, that work well with, you know, speed or not so much, or kind of tendencies that we have. But like I said, when you have so many weapons like we do, and everyone's healthy, you can't. I mean, it's hard to guard everyone. You take me out the game, you take Josh out the game. I mean, Leaf might be wide open. You take J-Mo off, you know, his deep route, I might be open underneath. Sam might be open underneath. You try to cloud everything out, just dump it out to Jameer, and he can take it, you know, the distance. So there's so many different things that we can do. But, yeah, definitely having, you know, so many weapons, it definitely opens up everything. But like I said, it just takes the pressure off all of us.
I feel a little bit.
You know that you're in a shootout.
St, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No, getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously, when I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. The Detroit Lions rushing game was alive and well early in this one. Rookie Jahmyr Gibbs, he came into this 399 rushing yards on the ground. That is the third most for all rookies in the NFL. He added 77 today. How lethal was he in those lanes that were created by the big guys up front?
Oh, he was very lethal, Danny. I thought David Montgomery, as you know, my guy, I thought he set the pace. And then I thought Jahmyr came in. And like I say, I love that combination of those two. It's almost kind of like the thunder and lightning. You bring David in there to get those between the tackle yardage, those hard, tough yardage. Then you change it up with Jahmyr. Bring him in there, let him get to the outside, try to get him in space so he can make guys miss. So I love the combination of those two. But I do think David set the pace, and I thought Jahmyr did a great job of following the pace.
Some big-time touchdowns from the rookie, 2 of them today. That is why Gibbs is our player of the game, because like you mentioned, was so consistent, kind of followed the lead of, we'll call it his big brother, David Montgomery. I know he thinks of him in that way, but every time there was an open lane, even if it was the smallest amount, Gibbs was cutting through, and he was getting yards after the tackle, which was insane today.
You're right, Danny. And the thing I love about Jahmyr, you could see him growing as a player, meaning early in this year, he wasn't the guy that was patient, waiting for his blocks to set up, or sometimes he wouldn't just stick his foot in the ground and get upfield. Now you see him doing that. He's more patient back there. He's letting his blocks set up, and when he needs to go get a tough yard or two, he'll stick his foot in the ground and go get it. To me, he's emulating his dad, David Montgomery. I'm telling you, man, I love what David is doing. I love how these guys are feeding off each other, and Jahmyr's just going to keep getting better and better and better.
Well, you led us right into it. David Montgomery, 116 rushing yards on the ground. Montgomery and Gibbs combining for 200 altogether, 177 of those coming in the first half. So it was sold out there in the second. But you see, every time Montgomery touched the ball, it was almost a first down, which is extremely elite in this league. 12 carries, so he didn't carry the whole load today. How much does that help Montgomery preserving his body when he does have Gibbs too?
Great point, Danny. Think about it. He's just coming off those ribs. So if you don't want him to take a lot of punishment on those ribs. I thought they did a great job of distributing the carries between these two. I think that's a great way of bringing David back with 12 carries. Like I say, that 75-yard run was exciting. It was much needed. It was a great run by him. So, yeah, he's doing just what he has to do, and our cog in the engine, it's back. That's it right there.
It sure was. Another weapon on this offense that we didn't get to see a whole lot of until late in this game, the fourth quarter to be exact, was tight end Brock Wright. A little pass over the middle from his quarterback right into Wright's hands, in the end zone. That was going to be the go-ahead touchdown.
Yes.
Chargers would tie it back up, and then Riley Patterson would kick the field goal, but just 2 receptions today. How do you show up big in moments when you typically are not even catching the ball in games?
But Danny, like you say, moments, and that's what the NFL game is about. If you think about it, an NFL game is probably going to come down to 4 or 5 plays, and it's normally going to come down to the last 2 minutes of that game, as we've seen today. So again, it's when you make those plays, when you make those opportune plays, when you make those impact plays, and Brock Wright made them at the right time to keep us in that game, keep the momentum going, and it was much needed. It really was when he did that.
The man who threw the ball to Brock Wright is Jared Goff, who is still extremely consistent. Now 13 games in a row dating back to last season with a QBR rating of 85 plus. And he outdid that today, 122.4 quarterback passer rating today. He went 23 of 33 for 333 yards, no INTs, 2 touchdowns. His longest throw of the day, 46 yards, and he completes just under 70%. Why is Goff so consistent?
Think about this, though, Danny. That 46-yarder, his longest pay, it really was like a 2-yard pass that Amon-Ra took 46 yards. But that's great, though. It doesn't matter. It don't matter how the quarterback gets his stacks. As long as the quarterback gets the ball to the proper guys and let those guys do what they do, that's what Jared has been doing all season long. This guy has been spreading the ball out to different people. That's why it's so hard to get a key on who he likes to go to. Everybody know Amon-Ra is his guy, but you get Josh Reynolds, you get everybody else involved in the game plan, which Jared does a great job of doing. Then that puts the defense on their heels because they don't know who's going to receive the ball.
Goff typically averages 272 passing yards per game. He had to go above and beyond today, and that's why this offense is elevated with Goff in it to those 333 passing yards here today. QB1 is standing by at the podium. Let's hear from him.
I mean, what is it, 4 straight 100 yards now? I think he's got 6 or 7 this year, just every week.
Yeah, it's good. I feel as good with him as I've ever felt with anybody, and he's a stud. He gets himself open. He's great hand. I mean, I can go down the list of things we all know about him, but I think ultimately I trust him, and it's a credit to the way he practices and the way that he goes about his business.
It didn't look like Sam was maybe your first read on that, so can you just walk us through what you saw and I guess how hard was it for him to get open?
Yeah, it was really just kind of a simple shell across concept, and he's really, I guess, number 2. It's the running back to him, to the over the ball, and I kind of went 1, 2, 3, 2, back to him. He had a good feel, kind of widened himself out. I haven't seen the tape yet, but it felt like he got kind of covered and then kind of kept widening and got himself open. But yeah, another guy that just has a great feel for the game, and I trust the hell out of him.
On the 75-yard touchdown.
Who?
On the Montgomery touchdown.
Oh, yes, yep.
Amon-Ra said you guys were in a pass play with the wrong personnel, and you checked out of it, obviously. Can you just walk us through what that experience was like?
Yeah, every once in a while it happens where we end up with the wrong personnel on the field, and the certain play we had called, we really can't run out of that personnel. And I knew it was wrong kind of when we broke the huddle. I should have realized it probably when we were in the huddle, but once we broke the huddle and got lined up, I realized it was wrong. And Ben in my headset, hey, get to the end of the run we ended up getting to, and we were laughing about it. You do all this planning through the week, and Monday to Saturday for what you want to do and make everything perfect, and then we kind of basically mess it up, and it's a 75-yard touchdown. But that's what it's a credit to a good team. We adjust and are able to kind of make adjustments on the fly like that.
Jared, on the 4th and 2, is there a discussion? Is there any sort of hesitation? Is there any sort of debate, or you guys are going for it?
With our guy, I kind of lean towards we're going until he tells us we're not. And that's not just in that situation. That's kind of in every 4th down that we get. And had a good feeling he would go for it, just like that area we were in. We kind of wanted to get an extra 5 or 10 yards to secure it, as well as I'm sure in his head he didn't want to give Justin the ball back with a minute and a half. So there was many factors going into that. But yeah, he's got big balls, and he showed it there. And it's a lot of fun when he puts the ball in our hands to make the play.
What is that for an offense when you know you have a coach that has that kind of confidence to just go?
Yeah, we want to make them right, and it gets us a little bit more motivation to make things work. And he trusts us. He's showing us he has full faith in us to make it work in a scenario that maybe the odds are stacked against us in some way, and he's saying, no, they're not. He trusts us and lets us go to work.
You give yourself a moment to appreciate these moments. I mean, last time you guys kind of came to the stadium, completely different team, completely different situation. You come back, you guys are top of your division. You give yourself a moment to appreciate every little step, the moments of coming back to California and winning as well.
Yeah, when I was walking off the field today, I kind of had those thoughts, and our crowd, how loud they were, and getting to give them some love at the end of the game there, and they're still cheering us on as we're walking off the field. And I've never played for a crowd like this, and they travel, and they're great at home, obviously, but I've never experienced that. It's pretty incredible, and being able to be a part of it as the quarterback is pretty fun.
What's it like to be in a shootout where you don't know how many points you're going to need?
Yeah, for me it's fun. I don't know if we want to win the game like that every week, but we felt like we could do some good things against them in the pass game, and Justin obviously on the other side was doing his thing as well, and you kind of get that feeling like, all right, maybe it's going to be the team with the ball in their hands last type of game, and certainly it was today. And we know how potent their offense is as well, so we were knowing we would need some points.
Can you talk about how big the offensive line was today?
Yeah.
Pretty good pass rush. You only get 2 quarterback hits.
That's what we were talking about after the game. They got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are 2 of the top guys in the game, and we say this all the time, but 2 of our tackles are 2 of the top guys in the game, and not only was there no sacks, I don't think I ever got hit, and that doesn't happen against a good D line like that. And it's a credit to those guys and how good they are. And I think this unit we have now is going to start gelling pretty well and continue to keep going.
Jared, 7-2 on the season now. How far can you go this year?
Yeah, as far as we would like. It's still early, about the halfway point, but yeah, we feel great. 7-2 leading the division, and a lot of work ahead of us. It's not like we can kind of look towards what what January looks like. We can't even do that. We got to keep winning, and got some big challenges coming up ahead.
Now to Detroit, what do you do on a plane for 5 hours after a win like this?
Well, I'll sleep a little bit. I'll watch the tape. I'll probably maybe watch a movie, I guess. Joke with my teammates about some of the funny plays we had. Enjoy those moments because those are the best ones.
Is it weird to not get hit? I mean, the feeling.
Yeah.
Standing up here.
Yeah, it typically doesn't happen, especially against a good D line, and it's happened a handful of times because of the tackles we got and because of the interior we have, but it's very rare against a good D line, and I maybe fell to the ground once or twice, and probably my own fault, but I don't think I got hit once.
Is there a more specific play?
Sorry.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the man of the hour. I know he received one of the game balls from head coach Dan Campbell. That's kicker Riley Patterson.
Yes.
Perfect on field goals, 2 for 2. Perfect with extra points, 5 of 5 today, including that 41-yard go-ahead field goal. He was poised and calm and collected. What is going through an NFL player's mind in a moment like that, Lomas?
Yeah, first of all, don't miss it.
Yeah.
That's what the big fellas are saying down front, because you ready for this game to end. But Danny, look, you just have to have so much confidence in this guy. And I'm going to tell you, for Coach Campbell, that's going to go a long way with knowing that he could put him in a game situation, in a situation where it's last minute, and you could count on this guy to go in there and make that field goal. So to me, he built up confidence not only with himself, but he built up confidence with his team and his teammates. So I think it was great that he was given that opportunity and he came through.
That's why Patterson is our player, or has our play of the game, because this is massive. 41 yards out. Detroit Lions did elect earlier in the game not to go for a 55-yarder. I know that is not the same as 41 yards, but you have to think Patterson might have been, hey, I wonder, do they have faith in me? Do they think I can kick these balls? Dan Campbell wanted the ball in his team's hands for Patterson to kick it, so I think faith restored.
Danny, I think that's a great point that you made, because again, as a player, you want to know that your team and your coach has confidence in you to put you in there in this situation. And again, as long as you come through, that's what you have to do. Patterson came through today, so I don't see any hesitation in Dan Campbell and that coaching staff calling his number if they really need something. I don't see any hesitation in them calling his number, and I don't see any hesitation reputation in Riley Patterson standing up there and getting it done.
The embrace from his teammates was a sight to see. I don't think these Detroit Lions have been more excited after a win so far this season. I got a chance to talk with Patterson moments after his game-winning field goal. Riley, 2 seconds left on the clock, and the game-winning field goal is in your hands. How do you prepare for a moment like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it starts, in college, in OTAs, all that stuff, and we get a lot of reps during that time. So it's been great to be with a really good group, a really great snapper, really great holder, great line. They've been doing great all year, so it's cool, man. Our offense looks great, our defense looks great. Line's looking good, man. So it's pretty cool to be part of a great team.
How do you remain poised in a moment like that?
Yeah, well, I lean a lot on my faith, to be honest with you. Guys getting me through every high, every low, and it's just been a blessing to be a part of something really special, and I'm just very thankful.
You're a part of a 7-2 team that is progressing as December gets closer. Where did this team grow the most today?
Today, man, I just feel like we answer for everything, even down there on the 1 yard line, and we stopped them like 7 times. That was pretty cool to see that. That's resilience, that's special. And, just thankful to be here, man. It's pretty cool to be part of this.
Your reaction when you heard the Lions fans in the crowds after your kick?
That was awesome. I was busy. I mean, the guys were punching me in the chest and everything. So, man, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of Lions fans here. And that's pretty cool to see, man. When our defense is down there, it almost feels like we're back home. So, it's great to see Lions fans here. And, going back home 7-2.
Thanks, Riley. Congrats. The man of the hour. All right, we are almost wrapped here on Detroit Lions Live post-game show. Up next, the Chicago Bears. They have had their woes this past season. They pulled out a big win on Thursday Night Football. What do these Lions have to brace for in Week 11?
I mean, Danny, anytime you got a divisional game, you know it's going to be a tough game. Chicago's familiar with us. We're familiar with them. It's going to be a tough game regardless of whatever your record is. When you go against a divisional foe, you really want to beat that divisional foe, or you want to stop that divisional foe from getting to where they want to go. We're ahead of Chicago. I know they would love nothing but to ruin us and start, and give us a loss coming up. Wow, I was struggling with that one. Okay. So again, it's going to be a tough game. They got a good team. These guys are pros. They get paid, so it's going to be a tough game. But I do like the way the Lions are playing. I like the way they finish games. I think we should be able to get that victory.
Will quarterback Justin Fields play, or will he miss his 5th straight game? And will we see Tyler Bagent, then the undrafted free agent, step in? He has had a very interesting story so far.
Yes, he has had and his dad, he got that arm wrestler.
The arm wrestler.
Yeah, the arm wrestler. So we better be a little careful. I might have to arm wrestle the dad at the game, Danny.
My money's on you, Lomas. Money's all on you. All right, the final from SoFi Stadium, 41 Detroit Lions, LA Chargers 38. Detroit moves to 7-2 on the season. Justin Herbert and those Chargers fall to below 500 on the season. A big-time win. These Detroit Lions showed up. That's a wrap from Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. We cannot wait to see you back home. 2 games in a row, starting with the Bears and the Packers on Thanksgiving Day.
I love it. Home field cooking.
Right? 3 games in 11 days. 1 down, 1 dub. Let's do this.
1 down, 1 dub.
I love it.
Right, I love her.
We will see you guys right back here next week.